Good evening. My name is Danielle Parker representing New Zealand, and this evening I will be discussing the lessons learned from the recent ransomware attacks we've encountered thus far. Following a simultaneous discovery of the Revoton ransomware by a user in the Human Resource Department and by the intrusion detection system, it became necessary for investigative analysts to be performed on the organization's system to determine what had occurred and the extent of the damage. The first step towards responding to the attack was to study captured packets from the intrusion detection system, which made it possible to determine the method of delivery used in the attack. This step was important since it enabled me to learn the importance of determining the mode used in attack, since it can help in determining the damage extent prior to commencing with the recovery process. Upon analysis, it was determined that several workstations had been affected by the attack, which caused files on the devices and those on shared drives to be encrypted. Further analysis enabled us to identify the attacker and the encryption algorithms that were used. The ransomware had demanded the victim to pay $500, which some victims considered affordable, and they would have paid the fee. However, I learned that obeying an attacker's demands is a show of weakness, which may permit them to conduct future attacks. The incident response team was effective in many ways. First and foremost, the team was successful in identifying the attacker and preventing future attacks from the same assailant. The incident response team was also effective in finding out what the attack was caused by ransomware, which came together with instructions on how to decrypt the infected systems. The instructions were in the form of encrypted files, which contained encrypted hashes that could be used to decrypt an encrypted system. This discovery was educative since it enabled me to realize that through analyzing an attack, it is possible to discover ways of dealing with the attack. In order for the organization to avoid similar future attacks, there are various areas that require amendments. The ransomware was able to spread with ease within the organization because of the poor training that the employees had received. Employees must receive adequate training that will ensure they have the ability to detect compromise in the system, know how to use the organization's resources without subjecting the organization to threats, and respond to attacks by reporting to the designated body. Another area that requires urgent improvement is the organization's cybersecurity policies and their readiness plan. The organization requires stipulating a well-defined plan that it could use in case of attacks to ensure that damages are kept at a minimum. When the attack occurred, it was noted by a user in the HR department and by the intrusion detection system. However, this was after a few workstations had already been infected with the ransomware. This means that there was lackluster performance in some of the security controls, which were designed to warn the organization of potential threats before they can become manifested. Network packets revealed that the packet capture was successful, but configurations on the intrusion detection system were not sufficient to trigger an alarm when abnormal network activity took place. From the investigation, it could be observed that multiple GET requests had been made, which should be alarming, but no red flag was raised. Organizations also require a human to perform analysis on the packets to detect what the IDS may have missed to pick out as irregular. However, the organization also failed on this front, which allowed the ransomware to take effect. The controls referred to in the previous section can be improved through simple steps. First and foremost, the intrusion detection system can be configured to raise alarms when any activity which is considered as unusual takes place within the network. In order to determine the best configurations, the organizations could perform vulnerability assessments to determine ways that can be used to launch attacks using vulnerabilities. Also, the security controls can be improved by ensuring that the network administrator is well qualified. and able to perform network analysis frequently to detect any anomalous activities. The Security Awareness Program can be improved through rigorous training of all personnel associated with the organization. All employees require basic security training, which will ensure they do not put the organization at risk of attacks. The training should also ensure that employees know how to properly respond to incidents, which is preferably by forwarding security issues into the organization's incident response team. The incident response team could also benefit from training and through the implementation of security policies that are intended to guide them through the recovery phase of attacks and also help them keep security at an optimum. With the recent ransomware attack, the malicious programs would install itself from the browsers when the employees access email attachments that contain the ransomware. The main weakness that was exploited to ensure that the attack was a success was in the email and attachments identification. Organizations must ensure that they have put in place means that prevent employees from interacting with suspicious email attachments such as zip files and executable programs. It is obvious that most security threats make use of vulnerabilities to gain entry into a system. For example, errors within the operating system could allow threats to gain entry and cause havoc on the system. The aim of patches is to repair these known vulnerabilities that allow certain types of threats to be used. If an organization ensures that all patches are installed, it means that they have blocked the known threats that exploit the loophole the patches intended to fix are protected against. The same applies to the basic operating system security settings. They are aimed at blocking known threats, which means that by ensuring patches and the basic operating system security settings are managed, an organization will not have to worry about the known threats. This now concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for your time.